Hello, hello. Can we hear each other's? Hopefully, yeah. Are we ready for the speed run? Speed run is coming. All right, everything is set up. Great. Let me see what we are having on Twitch. Okay, 13 people. How's it going, guys? How's it going? What's up? What's up? All right. Hello, hello, hello. We can slowly start our favorite part of streams, speedruns. Speedruns. So we are going to this 2000 level very soon, where the game is going to be more trickier. We're going to face more challenging games there, as we know. All right. Okay, let's start. Let's start now. Okay. All right, we can start a game, right? Everything's connected, everything is working. Perfect. Start a game. Okay, so now I will play today something new, and that's Modern Defense. Modern Defense, G6. So for players who don't know what is the Modern Defense, you are setting up your bishop as soon as possible in G7. And then you're playing the move D6. But you are not going for early knight f6 because you're going to transpose into the peers. So what's the point of this opening? Now it really depends on the setup of our opponent. So he's playing the move bishop to c4. And his idea is to already apply some pressure here on f7. So what would be the biggest blunder here that Black can make? And that's the move knight to d7. Knight d7 is actually losing the game on the spot. because they will go for bishop takes f7, king takes f7, knight g5, and later on knight e6 is coming with a trap of the queen. So you cannot really allow your opponent to do that. That's why we are not going e6, we are not panicking here. We are playing the move a6, so we actually want to test this bishop with a move b5 directly, so he's on the wrong spot. It allows us to go directly for pawn expansion on the queen side, which is typical idea for modern defense. So we are not playing knight f6, we are not pushing any pawns yet. We are mainly focusing to test our opponent's ability in this position. So b5 is our next idea. It's coming even with tempo, where we're gonna place the bishop on b7 later. So yeah, why not b5 now? Okay, they have this move bishop to d5 to attack our rook, but we can even play the move c6. Yeah, so they played here. Now we are playing the move bishop to b7, attacking on e4. That's how the modern defense work. It's a bit passive opening, but it's very challenging, especially now where we obtain this beautiful diagonal and have a very nice pressure on the e4 pawn. So yeah, in the next moves we might go for, of course, something like knight f6. So okay, now I think I made this mistake that I shouldn't, because bishop b7 is now allowing bishop takes f7. I just forgot that I'm not in the track anymore for the e6 square. So I was talking about this to not blunder, and I just blundered this, because now this works. Bishop takes f7. And if he sees it, it's game over. Hopefully he won't see that. You have to be careful in this bishop c4 line. It's very tricky. It's a very tricky line. So I just missed that. It's a very bad blunder. Bishop b7. I should go for maybe knight f6 or e6 just to neutralize this bishop first. Hopefully he just bring the pieces out. So that's something you should not do. That's something you should not do now. a6 was fine, b5 was fine, but bishop b7 early not yet. So maybe it was okay. He played knight c3, so he missed this tactic. That's good for us. So I think here still knight f6 could blunder this take, and then knight g5, but then we have king g8. So now at this point we're gonna play the move e6. So finally we're gonna stabilize, not allow our opponents to sacrifice here anymore. So this is not good for us. Then this knight will come on e7, then the other knight will come on d7, and we're gonna build this nice position, which marks the modern defense and this line against bishop c4 line. So yeah, it really depends on our opponent. Yeah, now we transpose into the hypothalamus opening, because we played the e6 together with d6, but that's just because they played the move bishop on c4, so we want to neutralize this diagonal. That's the point. So now they played move d5, and they're closing the position. They're closing the position, so we are accepting that, and we are playing the move e5. Like, if we take here, then the e-line can get open, and if you take here, the knight can take, and it's getting really sharp. So it's just better to close and like transpose in some King's Indian, where we still didn't commit to the move knight to f6. So we can think about playing something like knight e7, or even going with a move knight f6, knight h5, and then anyway play the move f5. This knight will be decent on c5, and we're gonna have very nice stability in the game, of course. Okay, they played a move a4. They actually got attracted by creating the weakness on the b5 pawn, which is challenging when it comes to now what to do, because you have a little problem and stability about this pawn. So you have two options. You can take this guy, but this allows bishop takes a4, and then your king won't have castles. Second thing, since the knight is since the knight is here, you can play the move b4, which I'm gonna play myself, and then provoke this knight to go back. Later on, I'll play knight f6, and this will come with tempo because we are going to attack the pawn on e4. And they already have the prompt. So for the viewers that just came now on Twitch, because there's many of them, this opening is the modern defense. That's where we at. It's called modern defense, so maybe you're playing it yourself. I don't know. It's a good sign to start learning it now. So this knight goes on the other side where he actually hits the spikes. And he definitely has the problems about that. So now what we're gonna do, we can simply start pressuring this pawn on e4 by normal development, knight f6. I think that knight e7 is also possible, but there is no need to, you know, like make the knight passive here. Later on, knight from e7 doesn't have good spots. So even though we don't play f5 too early, knight f6 is totally fine because we are attacking the e4 pawn. So now they go for the bishop g5 and they want to take it. So if I go for h6, they will not go bishop h4 because I have g5. And after bishop g3, I take the pawn. So it's logical that they want to take. I will firstly develop my knight on d7, which is a great move because I'm controlling the f6. And also I want to go on c5. So I'm actually undermining this pawn structure of white. But I don't want to take this bishop. Finka, thanks for following on Twitch. So the thing is, knight c5 is a good move, but not because you want to take the pawn on b3. The bishop on b3. This bishop is bad. He's hitting the wall. You don't want to take this bishop. The point is you want to pressure on e4 more. That's the whole story. That's the whole story. So, what's your favorite opening, bro? My favorite opening? I don't have favorite openings because there's many of them. But I wanna, as white, I like to play e4. Okay, maybe I can tell my favorite opening is Kalashnikov. Yeah, I like Kalashnikov Sicilian. Rosalimo game against 70 years old was nice and great understanding. Oh, you already watched it? That's good. That was classical game, so hopefully this is a new type of content that I introduced. Okay, a5. Very great idea. He wants to blockade a square for bishop so he can create some pins. You're close to my in-law. 1691. Okay, yeah, we are going slowly. You're going slowly, but we are always applying the same way of thinking. So now this bishop want to give this check. And I don't want to play, again, the move knight c5, because they have this check anyway, and if I take, the rook comes to the game. But on the other side, I see that his plan might be to go with a rook here already, and then to harass this pawn. So this is actually a clever move, very clever move. On the other side, this pawn is not super important. We can just go castles. This pawn is not super important because we are super much relying on putting the pressure on e4. And in the next moves, we want to take this pawn if possible. This bishop is a bit annoying to our queen, but okay, who cares about that for now? Queen d2, they're intending to go for this guy here, which is, of course, clever. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put our knight on c5, stop rook a4, allow queen takes here, because we might take on the other side. We might take on e4. Queen takes b4. Okay, clever, because they are Kartomishiev. Thanks for following. Queen takes b4, attacks our bishop, so now we can apply the pressure on the b-line. So we make this pawn sacrifice for the pawn that doesn't really matter so much to us at this point, since it's opening up the b-line and they're spending so much time on taking this pawn. So the strategy on the white side was not super conscious, because now I will go for something like rook b8, and I have already some ideas of sacrificing on d5, where I have this X-ray double attack. Yeah, that's the point behind our our idea. So, okay. Now we are also threatening the pawn on e4. He played queen to c4, which is fine. But now we can take the pawn on e4. So the pawn is hanging. If he takes on f6, I take back with my knight. If he takes on e4, I just take back on e4. He takes my queen, I take back with rook. So I'm fine with that completely. There is no additional tactics that bothers my position. So my knights are super connected and we just simply take on e4. So we regain the pawn, and not any pawn, but even very important pawn, because now there is no defender on d5 square. There is no defender on d5 square. So now in the next move, we would like to take the bishop. Okay, he took here. Now we have to take back with the knight. Otherwise, we lose the knight on e4. That's pretty much the only moves we have. And now we are threatening here. So slowly we are opening up everything, right? Everything works in our direction. Okay, he defended. He defended the pawn. But seems like these pieces are cramped. They're oriented a lot on the queen side where everything is blocked. Like I have good control here, nothing is hanging. And I still don't want to take this bishop. Like this bishop only makes sense to take if you're gonna win the pawn on d5. So now what I have problems in like opening up the center a little bit, and I want so badly to push these pawns. I can't do it now. Because I have the knight on f6. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna reroute this knight on d7, where later I'm heading to c5 square, and then I'm going to push together f5 and even e4 and f4, and I just want to open up everything here and create some nasty threats on the queen side. But we can also go for the breaks on the other side. c6 is best move, destroying the center. Not really. c6 would blunder the pawn. You don't want to do that. And also creating the weaknesses on b6. And also later on you can't play the move f5. So c6 could make sense if we have the pawn on b7, where we're gonna recapture with the pawn. But since we also have a6 played, we would have many holes. So that's not good. Okay. The thing is, now we can't play knight c5, but this knight is bad on here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start our pawn progression with f5. The only problem with f5 is knight g5 ideas with knight e6, but since then, no, it's not possible yet. So we can safely go for the move f5 now, which guarantees us space. Knight is bad here, bishop is bad here, queen is bad here. There is nothing else happening. I have perfect pawn structure to restrict their plans on the queen side especially. So this is kind of very nice position for us. So yeah, the only problem for us is if they stick the knight here. So we have to be careful about that. Otherwise, we are going for our kingside attack with e4, f4, and so on, of course. Okay, they played the move rook to d1. They want, I guess, additionally to protect the pawn on d5, but that doesn't do much. That doesn't do much for their position. I'm not pushing yet this. I'm not pushing yet. Maybe I won't, or maybe I can, because on the end of the day, I can actually exchange here, put the knight on e5, and then start bringing my pieces for the attack on the king side. So now there is many plans here. You can play this way that I showed with e4 and actually gave up your strong bishop. But you can play the other way and play the move g5 followed by g4, kick this knight, and then go with queen h4, rook f6, rook h6. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we can apply actually that idea by going the move g5, since they focus so much on the queen side where everything is stuck. And now you can see that we are kind of transposing some King's Indian, where we keep perfect control on the queen side, and we are ready with our rook lift, followed by queen, and then checkmate on h2. So this sounds very well. Hi, what do you think about Lichess rating inflation? Yesterday I just beat 2200, while only being 700. I mean, you didn't beat him because you're better than him, you just had more luck, maybe he had bad day or something. You're definitely not stronger than him, but, you know, as Magnus Carlsen said once, beating someone once isn't revenge. So, c3, you are definitely improving if you beat 2200, I want to say that. But I don't want to say that you are much better than him. Like, it's not inflation. That's not inflation. That's just your skill. Okay, so c3. Still, he's so barely looking that I'll push e4, but that's not my plan. My plan is to go g4 actually. And now this knight goes away. So I'm keeping my pieces closed and I'm relying on rook f6, rook h6, queen h4 plan. That's my point. Congrats on bronze in your recent tournament. Don't remember the name. Thanks so much. Okay, knight goes back, and now we are ready for our beautiful rook lift. Rook f6, rook h6. Yeah, I'm getting delivery. Okay, so he's in trouble because he's facing difficulties how to defend his position. Okay, now he challenged the pawn on g4. And the problem with this move is it's opening up more tactical spots on the dark squares. We still can't use them. Because if we go rook h6, they'll take, and if we take, we simply lose the pawn. So maybe the best idea for us is to just take on f3, accept that this knight is coming back to the game, and then we go something like rook g6, followed by finally move e4, and then just bringing our pieces slowly. So yeah, I think that's the strategy I'm gonna take here. I'm gonna take on f3, he takes back with a knight, and then I play something like rook g6 or still rook h6. So I think that's a fair deal for me. Maybe just playing a rook h6, because with rook h6 we are still preparing the move e4, followed by queen h4 and then queen h2. No, rook g6 is possible, but there is this annoying move knight h4. And we can't take the knight because they take here, the queen is protecting this guy. So now I'm still preparing the same plan. I want to go this and I want to go this. And this leads to very nice checkmate patterns again on h2. All right, so yeah, food delivery. I need to eat, you know. I don't have time to cook myself, unfortunately. Okay, so bishop c2, hitting the pawn. Okay. So now e4 is challenging the knight. Knight goes most probably here on d4, where we go already to move queen h4. So I think rook g6 was better instead of taking the pawn second last move. What do you mean? Aha, you mean here rook g6? Aha, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense, but still, he'll not do anything. He'll maybe play bishop c2 again, because then he hits your pawn here. Then you go queen g5, I guess. Yeah, but then you take finally. If you take, you trade the queens. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at analyze there. So, yeah, we're gonna take a look at that later. I think both of these lines are working. Thanks for following. Now we go e4. I think now we go e4. It's finally time to introduce our knight to the game, where we actually got some pressure. So let's go e4, creating the loop for the queen to come on h4. Is your beer ginger color? It looks nice, bro. Yeah, it has some ginger tone, but it's not completely ginger. If it's completely ginger, I would look like a Simon Williams, most probably, but it's not. So, okay. 94, challenging the pawn. So, okay, at this moment, there is one thing to say. Giving up your bishop on this knight, many people would consider as a good move, because, oh yeah, you're eliminating this strong knight. This knight is coming on e6. It's a really strong piece. Correct. But sometimes you don't need to pay attention on that. So you can go fully in your attacking mode to put a pressure on the h2, where they're actually kind of forced to go to move h3. How do you practice OTB Blitz without practicing Pronter to play against? Yeah, you just play online, I guess. All right, so they played, as you see, the move h3, and yeah, they're now trying to play so badly these two moves. What we can do about that? It looks like it's a checkmate coming, right? But I don't want to give up. I want my bishop on e5, followed by queen g3, and then queen h2. But I think I don't have time for that, unfortunately now. Maybe have to actually go for bishop takes d4, but on the other side, I still don't want to do that. But I'll lose my f5 pawn. If I go rook to f8, then knight e6, or queen takes e7. I'm just looking like, okay, knight e6, bishop e5, knight takes f8, queen g3. It's not enough for the checkmate. It's not enough for the checkmate. Rook g6, knight takes f5, queen takes h3, queen takes e4, and they defend everything. So I don't have still that. Rook g6, knight takes f5, queen takes h3, and queen takes e4. They defend everything, yeah. 95, queen e2. 95, queen e2. Still threatening here. Yeah, it's tricky here. It's tricky how to apply the maximum impact on your opponent. All right, so let's calculate better. Like let's sorting out the candidate moves. So okay, if we go bishop to e5, they'll take on obviously on f5, and then later on h6 rook is hanging with check, and that's not possible. So we are closing the move of this. Take the knight is one other option, which solves all of our problems, but on the other side, we want to so badly keep this bishop. Rook f8. Rook f8 looks interesting. They will maybe go the move knight to e6, then we go bishop e5, then they take on f8, and then we go queen to g3. But I think in the worst case scenario, even if we skip the move for them and give this check, they will go king f1. If we go check, they'll start maybe running or even play king f2 then. And I can't take this pawn here, and also my queen is staying on h1. So setting up this is not really giving a checkmate. That's something you need to be aware of. So yeah, just sometimes it's maybe enough to take this guy here. Sometimes it's just enough to take this guy. Okay, queen takes. I was thinking that maybe better option for him was to take with a pawn, because this frozen the option of 95 and keeps the option for them queen takes e7, which leads to some very big complications for me. Now, when the queen is there, now we have just beautiful move 95, where after we're gonna get followed with rook f8. Queen a7 now looks possible, but this doesn't do anything. We even sacrifice this bishop, and we just go for long checkmate patterns on the king side. Okay, that was kind of expected. They want to take so badly our pieces. We're gonna completely ignore that. So we are giving up the bishop for a very big initiative. So yeah, now funny story. We have this move knight f3, which most probably wins the game at once. If queen takes b7, then knight f3. Pawn takes, queen g3, king f1, queen f3 check, king e1, queen e3, king here, and just rook takes h3 and then checkmate. If on knight f3 they go king f1 or king... Okay, king h1 actually lose the game to queen g3, because we are threatening mate here, and if they take, we have rook takes h3. So yeah, now they were aware of this, that this could come, and they actually played this, but now we also can go for this. So we don't need to sacrifice, we can introduce our bishop to the game, that helps our attack. So now at this point, we can go the move queen to g3. We still don't care about a bishop, because we have then the move knight f3. So yeah, queen g3 is now a decent move. This is a big threat, by the way, because if king h1, queen h2, if rook takes, we just take with a pawn, and then we still threaten the checkmate. What is your rating? It looks so huge. On my official account is... oh, this is actually a nice sacrifice. But I think doesn't work. What is your rating? It looks so huge. On my official account is... like, now it's a little bit bad, 2600 blitz. I'm talking about blitz, not rapid. And on my anonymous account, where I play because I'm practicing there, the openings and so on, it's 27 above 50, 2750, I think. Because I play more there, I don't play on my official account too much. On official account, I'm only playing Title Tuesdays, and sometimes if I decide. So yeah, now he wants. Yeah, I see what he wants, but I think still that I can just take this bishop. On the other side, we have rook takes h3, and maybe that's just totally enough. Rook takes h3. King f... Okay, rook takes h3. Boom. This. Okay, then this. Yeah, this is just looks over. So yeah, rook takes h3 is just enough. Okay, rook takes h3. Let's just take queen takes b7. King h2 here, then we take. Yeah, rook takes h3 now. Aha! Eating, not trading. What are you eating? It looks so huge. Oh. Okay. I'm eating... it's called cevapi. It's special traditional Serbian food. It's really good. Like if you come to Serbia, seek for this. It's so good. It's made from beef, I think. Okay, this guy wants so badly to beat me. But I think this doesn't work. So what we're gonna do now... we can do one check. For instance. Yeah, let's start with the Queen h2 check. Then he'll put the king here. Okay, makes sense. And now we can go with a knight. Now we can go with a knight g4 check. Yeah. He goes away. Thanks for following. Yeah, everyone that comes to Serbia tells that Serbian food is best in the world. And as a Serbian, I can confirm that our food is really good and really healthy. I mean, not really healthy when it comes to eating so much meat, and all these sauces and this stuff, but generally the food itself is healthy. Okay, I'm 2 minutes. I need to speed up. So my point of this knight g4 check was to include another piece to the game, and now I can safely take this guy here. So I'm undermining the defender over the g2 spot, and after bishop takes, queen takes g2, followed by rook h1. It's checkmate. Hi from Michigan. Hello. And yeah, now we have mate in 2, guys. Queen takes g2, king moves, and then rook h1 is a checkmate. Okay, he played queen to f2. We just take this queen, of course, coming with check. And then we have final touch. Okay. As usual, we are doing the game review after this game because the point of speedruns is to study some theory. So in this game, we were playing the mortar defense. The very big mortar defense. So why I'm playing this opening? I'm rarely playing the mortar defense. It's something I play time to time, which reminds me in the King's Indian. And here, the point why I played it is to show you additional opening on my channel that I never showed in the videos. And I guess that many people in the chat are facing this opening as white, maybe even playing as black. So the point of this is to put your bishop on g7. It looks like King's Indian, but it's not, since you're not playing the move knight on f6. And then, okay, this move is a little bit challenging, because if you go knight to d7, I told you to not blunder this, because of bishop takes f7. And then you are actually in a massive problem here. You have to take with king, and after knight g5, you're losing your queen. Wherever you go with your king is actually trapped. So, at this point, I play the move a6. Typical reaction. I want to go b5 with my pawn. Okay, let me. One second. Okay, yes. So yeah, we go here, a6, here, and b5. That's the whole point of the modern defense. Bishop to b3, and now bishop to b7. So we are attacking the pawn on e2. Now I told you that maybe they have this sacrifice here, but now when I see knight g5 and you just go king e8, they go here, you play queen c8 or queen d7, and even if they take here after king f8, they're losing this knight. And then we are staying with a piece up. So it looks like it's working, but actually not. In this move order, it's not working. Then they play the move knight c3. Now we finally restrict with e6, and now this looks like a hypothalamus opening, just because they played bishop c4, we have to restrict this bishop. On the other side, a hypothalamus opening is here with the move b6, but we have b5, so it's different. And now they played move to d5, so we are closing with e5 here. That's the biggest point beside this line, to close up, because they want so badly to open up everything in the position. That's the reason why we are closing it. So now when I'm looking, since I have course on this opening, what I analyzed in the past is actually something a bit different. In the modern defense course that I built myself, that you can find on my website, in the earlier stage on bishop c4, it's recommending to go actually the move knight to c6, which I didn't play it in the game. And then the theory goes after knight c6, knight c6 castles, they castled. Then knight f6, challenging the pawn in the center. Rook e1 defending that pawn. Then we have castles for black. Black is threatening actually now knight takes c4. So if they play something like knight c3, we have this fantastic move bishop g4 followed by e5. We just get attention and then we grab the point and jump on d4 with our knight. In our game, I played a move a6, which is also covered as alternative line here. This is another plan where they kind of actually maybe need to stop you, your b5 move, because it's very annoying to their bishop, but they didn't in our game. So according to course, they need to go a4, then we go e6, trying to neutralize this bishop. They play knight c3, we play knight e7. And now what people are making here, the move bishop g5, it's a suspicious move. It just helps you to build up even more proper stuff on the king side with g5, where actually we get the advantage. Now we play the move knight c6, and then our knight goes to g6. Maybe knight g6 is actually better directly. I think g5, bishop g3, knight g6 actually better directly. Queen d2, knight c6, long side castles, and g4. That's alternative in the line. Okay, after g4, maybe you're even winning some material now because you're taking the pawn here. So they need to play h3 to stop you. Then you castle short, and black has fantastic position here. That's how the course says. I didn't play like in the course because my opponent didn't follow up here with an a4 to stop me. I played the move b5. Okay, if you're wondering about the course, I can put in the chat. If you're interested to see in both chats. Okay. So now after b5, they play the move bishop b3. I play bishop b7, normal developing moves, knight c3, 6, restricting the bishop. And yeah, two knights in modern defense is much better variation for white. There is a lot of tactical opportunities for white at that point. It's generally healthier than this bishop c4 line, because now this bishop looks a little bit odd looking at his own pawn in practice. Now e5, perfect closure in the center, a4 challenging. We need to play b4, knight e2, knight f6. So now black is already fine here. We have a decent position now at this point. He played bishop g5. I played knight b7. Actually, better move for myself was to go the move a5. Because after knight to bd7, he played a5, and he actually made a great point. He wants to put a pressure on b4 pawn. Later in the game, if you remember, we sacrificed that pawn for distant initiative in the king side. But even though here we can stop that by just doing the move a5, which is also decent reaction. I'm 1200 rapid and trying to expand my opening repertoire, so I'm more flexible. What would you suggest for black response to e4 and d4 and turn too complex for my level? Okay, I think for e4, d4 you can just play this motor defense. This looks very nice. You just play all the time the same setup, even against d4, because usually people are transposing into the same thing. This is looking complex, but it's not. Your setup is always most of the time the same. You are kind of neutralizing their threats in many of these variations. Just neutralizing this bishop. As you see now, this bishop is gone. Of course, there's different lines against motor defense, but once you learn this theory, you are, totally flexible. Depends what you like. Are you more tactical, positional player? Totally depends on you. Knight b7, nice move. We are looking to plant our knight on c5. a5, castles, and now they play the move queen d2. So here I missed this. I simply missed that there is knight takes c4 because queen is now under pressure. So if they take on d8, I take here, and then later on we win this bishop. Okay, we missed one tactic. Knight c5 is also a fine move, but unfortunately we missed the knight e4. Queen d2, rook b8, queen to c4. Okay, now we finally take the pawn. This pawn is hanging, by the way, all the time. Bishop takes here. We have to take back with a knight because our knight is hanging on e4, so we need to retake it back. They played knight to c3, trying to, consolidate a little bit more. Then we go knight e7 back. Who's gonna tell me why we are going knight e7 back? What's the point? Yeah, you want to go f5. That's correct. And then later for e4, and then bring your knight to e5 or in c5. So they played knight to a4. This is never good. Coordinating your knight on the side is just like eliminating already one piece from the game, which is terrible. I played f5. If there is knight g5, then f5 is bad move because they will simply jump in here. Sometimes we have to restrict their actions. So starting with h6 then would be better than going f5. But since we have perfect control there, they can't play the move knight g5. They went rook to d1 and now I play g5. So many people would now start already with e4. This is also possible, but this allows knight e4 and then knight to e6. So I just wanted to, as a maximum of my position, not allow my opponent enough counterplay. Here, I know that this bishop is, that this knight is gone. I know that also this bishop is gone from the game generally. This knight is also very restricted. He's super restricted. I want to go g4, and the behind idea of g5 is to make a rook lift and then go on the king side for the checkmate. So that's actually the best according to computer. c3 played, now we continue with our plan. They move the knight back, and now we play the move rook f6. So everything goes as we planned. They played f3, and in this position, someone recommends the move rook g6, which is also possible. What I saw on this move, maybe something like bishop c2, threatening here, and if you go queen to g5, they would maybe take you, and if you take here back, they have queen takes g4, and then now you can lose the game on these tactics. So you have to be careful here, maybe queen e3 and then rook takes g4. So yeah, this is also possible. Rook g6 is also possible. I just liked more directly to take, and after knight takes to go rook h6 immediately. They played bishop c2, putting the pressure on this pawn, and now of course it's finally to show why we have this good pawn formation. They play knight e4, and here we're discussing, should we start with bishop queen h4? We actually did. And yeah, actually in this position we were discussing, should we take the knight, should we play knight e5, should we play bishop e5? And I think that this doesn't work, because you lose your pawn here, and then it's coming with check. So you can't play that. If you go knight e5, they take on c7. And you can play rook f8. You're still providing some pressure, but you know, sometimes you have to be really careful, because why to allow your opponent this sort of big counterplay? There is no need for that. So the best possible move we played is bishop takes d4, even though sometimes you don't wanna like eliminate your strong bishop, you have to, because you're reducing your opponent's counterplay. Queen takes back, and now we finally jump with the knight on e5. They played queen to a7. I told you that this bishop on b7 is out of the game, so you don't really need your bishop for the attack. You're just bringing another attacker to your game, and that's rook on f8. They played rook to f1. And how do you finish the game here? Let's see, for these new viewers that just came. How do you finish the game? Oh yeah, I ask you how to finish the game and you have engine. Let's turn it off. Someone suggested knight f3. I guess it's possible. But the smoothest one that I found was queen to g3. Because now you're threatening knight to f3. And you're also threatening rook takes h3. So they took on e4, very clever. Because after this they want this, and after this they want, I guess, this. But I think still we have just knight f3 and so on. They don't have this. I mean, it actually could be annoying, because after check here takes, you know, you're actually in a trouble here now. They're generating the counterplay. Maybe you're still winning, but no need to allow that. So that's the reason why on bishop takes f3 we went for rook takes h3. So now we are going for queen h2. They took on f5. We firstly give a check. They go here. Now knight g4 check first. If you go this, and now queen f4, want to win the bishop, they will go back. Okay, now maybe when I see we have this move knight f3, which wins the game again, but if you go to take this bishop, they might take you back or introduce the rook to the game, so you have to be careful. That's why I think the easiest was just to go knight g4 check, king to e2, now take the rook. When they take, eliminate defender on g2, and then go for rook to h1, which is giving you a checkmate. They sacked the queen, and then we gave the checkmate. And that's game over. That was modern defense. Who followed? I didn't see. Thanks for following. All right, so that's about a modern defense. Now the next opening we most probably gonna get with white pieces. Can you do ancient defense? I don't know what's that. Ancient defense. I don't know what's that. So if you're interested in modern defense and you like it, if you don't have the repertoire in modern defense, you want to improve your repertoire, you have a nice course about that. I already gave you the link in the description. Okay, now let's start another game. Let's see what we are getting. Okay, we are white, and like now we're gonna start with e4. c5, and okay, what do you want to play here? I can go for Mora Gambit, I can go for Alapin, I can go for knight f3. What you like to see? I like Alapin these days. Okay, let's go here for the move knight f3. Now I can transpose into the Alapin, by the way. I can go for the Alapin anyways. We can go for delayed Alapin, yeah. Okay, he played d5. Now we take this guy, of course. And then we play the move d4. That's how the variation works. So we are in the Alapin with already included knight c6. Okay, bishop g4. This is common move that happens on these levels all the time. Who's gonna tell me now what's the move in theory? Do you know what's the move here in theory? Does anybody know? What's the move now in theory? Bishop e2. Okay, yeah, bishop e2. Thanks for following on Twitch. Yeah, bishop e2 is one move. I play bishop. Yeah, bishop e2 is the main move, but there is one really nice move here that forces black into one endgame, which is very nice for white, actually. And that's the move d takes c5. I think you didn't expect this move from me, and from this point. But this works very, very well. Because now, we clear the center, and we have perfect structure, 3 versus 2 on this side of the board, where their king is still not castled, and we are already getting super nice development with the move bishop e3 now. So, what actually black would like to have already in the game, instead of knight c6, he would like to have the kingside development, because he can't really castle long. He can play rook d8, but now we are the one that develops with tempo and create initiative. So okay, this famous that you mentioned, bishop e2, c4 and so on stuff, doesn't work the properly, and this is the most played one, I think. But this is the most challenging for black. Now we are having initiative. Depends really what I play. You see, queen to a5. Queen to a5. Putting the queen on the wrong spot. I think maybe placing on f5 was better. Because from f5 we can't do anything. Now, what is interesting, our knight can safely go here and here. And that's the common move for the Alapin players. You are going with your knight usually on this c4 spot. Okay, sometimes like here, in this position, we got some tactical opportunities. So firstly, thanks for following on Twitch, we can go for the move queen to b3, where we attack on b7. So that's a bit downside. And queen b3 spot is usually one of the best squares for the queen in Alapin variation. next to e2, of course, depends on the variation. But now when there is some soft spots, like here, we have queen b3. And we are proceeding with our initiative. Every single move from the move bishop to from d takes c5 was initiative move. So queen takes c5, bishop e3 initiative. Queen here, queen b3 initiative. So let's see continue. Let's see what we're gonna play next. Thanks for following. Now, for example, queen c7, and moving too much with the queen will result in some problems for them. We're gonna continue with Alapin pressure, typical Alapin style. Like, I want to hear from you. If they go queen c7, what is our candidate move here? What would you play as a candidate move? Let's reach 100 followers, guys. Sub up, follow up, like up the stream. Knight g5. Knight g5 doesn't work because they can simply play the move e6. They can simply play the move e6. Alright, they took on f3. So here is the thing now. Here's the thing, guys. What do you think about this move, bishop takes f3? Is this good for them? What they missed? Did they miss something? Did they miss something? This game could end very soon. They missed something. Queen takes b7 is now really possible, yes. Queen takes b7 is now very possible. Because we're threatening the rook with check, and also bishop is still hanging, so we don't really pay attention to this bishop until their rook is hanging. But there is the problem with queen takes b7, because there is the move rook b8. So this looks completely easy, but it's not working because rook b8 is actually losing the game for us. Our queen is after that trapped, I think. So unfortunately, we can't play that. So we have to accept this 3 takes f3. And now we are still attacking the pawn on b7. Yeah, we spoiled our pawn structure. But we are relying on b7 problem. So we also have ideas of going knight to a3, followed by knight b5, knight c4, where the long side castles will follow up. And again, we are interested in putting the pressure in the center because king is not castled, king is weak. So we do have a lot of ideas like this, you know, some traps on c7. They could easily blunder that. That's nice to see. They're in a practical problem because they already need to think again how to defense against our threats. And the typical move knight to a3 will follow up. Knight b5, knight c4 will be there. And we're gonna have nice position. I think both are possible. Like even eliminating your structure like this, allowing them to ruin your structure, that's totally fine if you ask me. On the other side, queen b3 maybe is a bit riskier because you're allowing g takes f3. But if you play knight bd2, they will play maybe e5, then knight f6. I think queen b3 actually makes some sense. You see that my opponent thinks a lot. Like if he goes with queen c7, I have ideas of knight to a3 followed by knight b5, which is really annoying. Followed by longside castles. With some ideas of bishop f4, bishop h3, depends on their reaction. It's really uncomfortable for black. This is typical Alapin problems. They're focusing on, yeah, he finally go for Queen to c7, and now we can go for the move knight to a3. We can go bishop f4, but on bishop f4 there's the move e5. So this is an interesting move also, but doesn't work because of this. So we are playing the move knight to a3. Knight a3, typical. We would like to go knight b5 with alongside castles. So he plays this, but he forgets about something because he creates a weakness on b6. So now we can exploit that square. We can exploit it a couple of ways. We can exploit it with knight, which definitely guarantees some problems for them. And we can exploit it with bishop. Taking the bishop there will not result in anything bigger and anything much for us. We can also go alongside castles first, provoking them to develop and see where they go after. Like, here's the thing. We can go alongside castles. I think that's the best option for us. Queen f4 doesn't do anything here. Like, if you're relying on this, they won't take you. They'll just move the queen. They won't take you. So you cannot just think about what you like in the game. You think both. What they don't like and what you like for you. So bishop c4 was possible, but they have e6. And now they play 6. So they want to develop, obviously. And now at this point, we can look for already some jumps. Knight c4, knight b6, and so on. They want to develop. They have few moves to later develop their pieces. So we are now relying on punishing their passivity. So yeah, I think we can go for this move, knight to c4. I think this looks interesting. Followed by this. Let me think. It's not super easy. It's not super easy for that. So knight c4. They have maybe even this move b5, which is a little bit annoying. I want to play bishop f4 to sack the bishop, but it's coming with check. Now I see that. Bishop f4 was not earlier. It's yeah, you mean here? Bishop f4 not, because there is e5. There's e5. So here I want to play bishop f4, but the problem is I can't really do that now, since it's coming with check. And I'm curious if I have time to go king b1 here. It looks very slow to me. If we just go bishop b6, he'll give another check. Yeah, maybe. And let's just step out of the way. Yeah, let's just step out of the promise, because we are still having these ideas. If he goes bishop d6, what do we do, guys? Can you tell me? What do we do after bishop d6? Bishop, queen b8. Bishop b6, queen b8. It's rook takes d6, yes. Bishop d6, rook takes d6, queen takes d6. Queen takes b7 is the point. And after rook d8, you want to take bishop takes a6 and then to focus on this knight on c6. Or on bishop d6 you can go knight to c4, which I think is even better because there is no need to sacrifice anything. Yeah, he played knight f6 that way. He played knight f6. So now maybe we can think about bishop f4. Bishop f4, e5, bishop c4 takes, rook e1, bishop e7. Yeah, it's tricky. It's very tricky. Let me think. He wants so badly to go for castles. We also have this annoying move, rook g1. Like, we can delay his castles by playing just the move rook g1. But then he plays the move knight to d5. Then he has this move knight to d5. Yeah, but he can't castle. That's good for us. Yeah, maybe rook g1 is nice. Maybe rook g1 is good. Knight to d5. Knight c4. Yeah, looks a bit slow. But I feel that there must be something. There must be something. I don't want to play bishop b6. I don't want to stick my knight there. My occupation is to put the bishop on this diagonal, and hopefully that will work. So if I go bishop b4, he'll play e5, obviously. But then he creates these light square weaknesses. So at that point, maybe I can just step back or go here. Interesting. So bishop f4, e5. That's what is annoying for me. Bishop f4, e5. Bishop g3, bishop d6, he castles, he's safe. Or bishop e7, he's castles and he's safe. Yeah, I don't want to let him castles. I don't want to let him castles. Yeah, there's a couple of candidates move. Rook g1, bishop f4, knight c4. There's some options. What is the most efficient move here in this position? That's a good question. Let me think. Yeah, let's test him out. Like, rook g1 looks very annoying because he can't develop the bishop. So he needs to play some bad move g6. This creates dark square weaknesses, and then we can rely on our tactics more deeper. Okay, b5. b5 is a little bit risky. b5 is actually definitely risky. It's restricting our, obviously, our knight to come on c4, but this creates other problems for them. Okay, guys, wait a second. All right, I'm here. So you think that we should sack the bishop? Why? Pawn takes, knight takes b5, queen c8, bishop f4, or bishop b6. That's actually interesting. Let's go for that. Yeah, I was not at the chair. I was in the toilet. Is that not technically cheating since he told you? This is speedrun account, so I can even use the engine if I want against these guys. Anyway, later they're gonna get rating return, so you can take a look. Authorized speedrun account, all points lost to this account, blah blah, we'll get back to them. So it's don't worry about that. So okay, now knight takes b5. Okay, but he told me, but I would say it myself, so it's not a big deal. I just read the comments after I came back. And now there is a big problem for him. Because he has so many problems with queen. I think queen a5 is the only move here. Otherwise, any move back could lose the game so quick. Okay, queen to e5. Queen to e5. Where is the checkmate? It's a good question. Maybe we just support it with here. Okay, rook c8. Rook to e1. Depends now where he moves his queen. And then we got some beautiful sacrifices. Depends what he does. Okay, queen to b8, and now we go for the beautiful one. Rook takes e6. Boom. What's the point behind it? If pawn takes, queen takes. And then after bishop e7, we have knight e6. So I think now the kind of only move for our opponent is to go with bishop e7. So he can run away with king f8. Otherwise, I think he's in a massive problems if you don't do that. Bishop e7 is the only move. Otherwise, he loses the queen. So many sacrifices. Yeah, that was the only move, but now we anyway go for the move knight to d6 check. Boom. And now I'll show you one of the masterpieces in tactics. Because you see, if he moves the king, okay, we can take the rook, queen takes c8. And now who's gonna tell me here what's the best option? Too much ads on your channel, bro. I don't know why. How you mean too much ads? You can use some browser with adblock. So what do we do here, guys? How do we win the game? Okay, there is rook e7, and there is rook f6. So both work. Rook e7 or rook f6. There is also rook f6. I'm just curious if there's any difference, but looks like there is no difference. And there is no defense. There is no defense. But let's go rook e7, as you mentioned. If you take on if you take the rook, then maybe he can run away, but with queen f7 now it's just checkmate. Alright. I unexpectedly need to finish the stream earlier. We're not gonna take a look at the analysis of this game, but you can take a look yourself. Find my account. You can see here and look at the last game. Take a look at analysis. But we can click the game review and just see quickly if we have good accuracy in this game. So accuracy was on the spot. We have one miss here. There's rook g5. Actually, bishop b6 was not the best. Rook g5 is better. Okay, I don't wanna hear this sound. Okay, rook g5 was better. That's something I saw. But how about now this? What's the move now? Queen c4. Okay. I thought that bishop e6 is easier, but this was good here, and now this was blunder because of brilliant move. Rook takes e6. Okay, guys, we are 2 followers away from 100. Follow up to reach this goal finally, and don't forget to hit a like button on YouTube also. And yeah, thanks for watching the stream. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.